Hi, my name is Chris Marison. I am working for Safe Events as the F&B manager at the moment.
Yes, my name is Mark Tubé. I'm from the Netherlands and I'm a safety manager regarding patron safety.
My name is Roland Cottle. I am a site safety advisor.
My name is Suleiman Desu and I am a site safety advisor.
Probably the people, lots of different characters and lots of different projects at the moment all over the world. Here we are in Saudi Arabia, so yeah, it keeps it interesting.
I really like to be on all the temporary venues where people gather, where people have fun, and I really like to contribute to their safety and their events.
I have always loved the idea of working at a festival, and just my background is all music based, so I really wanted to get involved in that area of work.
Event is fascinating. It's like a minute you're here and the next minute nothing is there. So it's like we were never there without no evidence. So I like the dynamic way that the industry is, and it constantly evolves and you need to evolve with it. Otherwise you get left behind. It's flexible and it's lovely.
At the time, I was working in the care industry in the UK, and a friend of mine runs a health and safety consultancy company. He invited me to a few events back in 2017, just to give him a helping hand initially. He was the safety advisor, safety manager, and it's just rolled on and on and on from there really until here we are now.
So I just left the Dutch National Police, where I worked for 15 years, and approximately 7 years ago I started to work at events besides my regular job at the police. And from one event, a second event came, a third event came, and so on. And that led me to being full-time freelancing at this moment.
I worked with a construction company for 3 years in Ireland, and I moved to Sweden for a few months and worked in data centers, and came back to Ireland, moved in construction, built 2 residential apartments and a commercial building in Dublin city centre, and then decided that I didn't particularly want to work for an in-house company and wanted to get back into events after I'd completed all my safety knowledge-based work. So
My major is in petroleum engineering. Then I have a level 3 and level 6 diploma in occupational safety and health from NIBOSH. So there was a little bit of issue in the oil and gas industry in 2011. So that was what made me go into health and safety. Then I moved to Dubai in 2017. Expo gave UAE a lot of jobs, and after February 2022, most of the companies, they are done with Expo, so they had to leave the country. And I was redundant for a while, so that was what made me think of going into freelancing, and it's like the best decision I've made ever since then.
Flexibility, no 2 jobs are the same. Get to pick and choose, spending time with the family, and I think it just keeps it interesting. You're not Monday to Friday or waiting for a Friday to come. You're all over the place, as much as you want to be or as little as you want to be.
For me, the pros are I'm in a different organization each time, and it doesn't matter if it's the same company I'm working for, but always the culture and event side and everything is slightly different, and you always need to adapt to that culture. You always need to adapt to the organization, to the politics of the organization. So I really like being a little bit flexible and also learn by myself by adjusting myself towards the company that I'm working in.
pros of freelancing are it's the time that you get back from working long hours during the summer. So we'll be doing like 6 gigs for about 9 months of the year, and then having 3 months off and being able to do your own time whenever you want. That's definitely a big factor, is not having to go in at 9 o'clock in the morning every day, 5 days a week, and choosing your hours really. So that's one of my favorite parts of it.
Pros, get to meet people, get to work in a large scale event like this, get to do your job, and like I said, it's something that you need to be flexible and you need to keep up on your game, otherwise you get left behind, because you need to be doing something that is dynamic on the ground and you learn every day.
Probably the same as what I just said. You've got to find your own work, you've got to keep yourself busy. You might end up spending long periods of time away from your family in some instances. The hours can be pretty nuts sometimes. But yeah, it's being self-employed probably across any industry is exactly the same. Yeah.
The cons is, for me, the con is freelancing sometimes brings a loyalty conflict. So, you know, working for one company, being asked by another company, and then the other company will ask you again to do something else, and then you have a little bit of loyalty conflict. About saying no to a company you like to work for.
Cons is that you miss out on a lot of events, especially family events. I've missed a couple of weddings this year, which is a bit of a shame, but that's all down to the love of being in the industry and taking one for the team really. So I'll never get that time back, but I will eventually when I get a bit older.
Uncertainty. There's no job security, and you choose the kind of jobs you want, but sometimes you don't choose the kind of clients you work with and the contractors you work with. So basically you don't have any idea of what you're going to meet there. So that's the cons.